Shamanism is a religious practice that involves a practitioner interacting with the spirit world through altered states of consciousness, such as a trance. The goal of this is usually to direct spirits or spiritual energies into the physical world, for the purpose of healing, divination, acquiring special skills, knowledge, or to aid human beings in some other way. Historically, shamanism is often associated with indigenous and tribal societies, and involves the belief that shamans, with a connection to the other world, have the power to communicate with spirits and offer their bodies as a medium to the spirit world in exchange for special abilities. There are many variations of shamanism throughout the world, but several common beliefs are shared by all forms of shamanism. Common beliefs among all shamans worldwide includes the following. Spirits exist and they play important roles, both in individual lives and in human society. The second common belief is that the shaman can communicate with the spirit world and acts as a medium for spirits in this other realm. Within the comparative beliefs of all shamans, there exist two main forms of communication with the spirits. The first is known as the trance of possession. Through this trance-like state, the shaman is possessed and gets into an intense mental state and shows superhuman strength, knowledge, and special abilities. The second form of communication is known as the wandering trance. In active or wandering trances, the shaman's life functions decrease to an abnormal minimum. In this trance-like state, the soul of the shaman leaves his body and enters the spirit realm. After awakening from this trance state, he relates his experience to his tribe, where he wandered and with whom he spoke. There are also cases in which possession and wandering are combined, as when the spirit first enters the shaman and then leads his soul to the world of supernatural beings. King Solomon once said, "There is nothing new under the sun. That which has been done will be done again. That which has existed will exist again." Although the name shamanism is not often used in the practices of our secular societies, the spiritual practice of the ancient shamans is still being used to this day, but has been relabeled as something else entirely. Aleister Crowley is one of the most well-known occultists in the early 20th century. He has been seen as an inspiration to those within the music and film industries. In his book Magic in Theory and Practice, Aleister Crowley stated that there are three main methods that can be used to invoke a deity into a person's life. There are three main methods for invoking any deity. The third method is the dramatic, perhaps the most attractive of all. Certainly it is so to the artist's temperament, for it appeals to his imagination through his aesthetic sense. Aleister Crowley essentially says that the third method to invoke a spirit is the most dramatic and attractive method, because it appeals to man's imagination and aesthetic sense. The method that Aleister Crowley is referring to is method acting. Method acting is a range of rehearsal techniques, as formulated by a number of different theater practitioners. This method seeks to encourage sincere and expressive performances through identifying with, understanding, and experiencing a character's inner motivation and emotions. Essentially, a method actor is someone who uses these techniques to achieve such a high level of character immersion that they temporarily transform into their character, even off stage or off camera. This technique has been used by shamans for thousands of years to immerse themselves into the character of the spirits, so that the shaman can invoke and channel these entities through their bodies. In the book Actors on Acting, the Greek philosopher Socrates is quoted saying that the muse inspires men through possession. In like manner, the muse first of all inspires men herself, because they are inspired and possessed. They are simply inspired to utter that which the muse impels them, for not by art or knowledge do you say what you say, but by possession. In Greek mythology, the muses are the inspirational goddesses of literature, science, and the arts. They were considered the source of the knowledge embodied in the poetry, lyric songs, and myths that were related orally for centuries in ancient Greek culture. Hollywood's biggest A-list actors have admitted directly and indirectly that they channel spirits from another world in order to help them with their performances. Jack Nicholson is a well-known iconic method actor who would frighten even his own coworkers on the sets of films that he's done. He has done many iconic roles during his career as an actor, such as the Joker in The Batman, and Jack Torrance in The Shining, among many other roles. One of his most well-known performances is Jack Torrance in the horror film The Shining. Jack Nicholson was said to have become so immersed in his character of Jack Torrance, a writer who slowly descends into madness, that he would often act erratically on set even when the cameras were not rolling.
Come on, you. Oh, come on, Dad. Come on.
Ryan, are you ready? Well, wait for Shirley. Shirley, we'll try to go.
We die. Ex-murder kill.
All right, you just say turn over.
Famous actress Shirley MacLaine once stated during a speech at the American Film Institute that during a filming of a movie scene with her co-star Jack Nicholson, she heard two voices come out of Jack's mouth simultaneously. This surprised Jack Nicholson himself.
And then we launched into the first take, and two voices came out of you. Do you remember this? Two voices, and they were simultaneous words, but they were two levels of sound. And I looked over at you. You were amazed. I was amazed, and you said, "Well, sure, Cheryl, I'm many different people." I said, "No, Jack, you're channeling."
Nicolas Cage is another well-known method actor. During an interview with Insider, Nicolas Cage likened the process of acting to shamanism. He even states that he uses the practices of shamanism to immerse himself into the role of a character.
You've developed an acting discipline that you've referred to as nouveau shamanic, is that correct?
Yeah.
What are the core principles?
I've been told that all actors really hail from the early medicine men and the shamans in the villages pre-Christianity, where they would put on masks and act out, and really they were probably pretty crazy, but they would go in and find answers to questions. Today you're called psychotic if you do that. But it's all semantics. So what I would do is I'd put on Afro-Caribbean paint, like a white and black paint, and black out my eyes so I look like this sort of Afro-Caribbean voodoo icon. And then I would sew in bits of Egyptian artifacts that were thousands of years old into my costume and gather some onyx or tourmaline or something that was meant to have vibrations. And who knows if it works or doesn't, but for me it was an idea of like trying to stimulate my mind or trick my mind into believing I was this character from another dimension. And I would walk on the set and then wouldn't speak to anybody, wouldn't say a word, so I projected this aura of horror, which created fear in my fellow actors, which then inspired me to believe I really was this character.
Exciting, I'd love to be on set with you.
Yeah, thanks.
I hope you guys found this video very fruitful, and I hope this video helps you understand that once again there truly is nothing new under the sun. The things that were practiced in ancient times are still being practiced today. The things that existed in ancient times exist today. The only difference is these things have been relabeled as something else. Please let me know your thoughts on this topic in the comments below. If you would like to support this channel, I do have a Patreon. The link to that is in the bio below. Thank you so much for all the support. Please like, share, comment, and subscribe. Till next time.